at the top of the year, so many of us are wondering, how do I change myself and change the way that I interact with the world around me? And you used a word that I don't think I've ever heard before, but that emotional boundary. Of course, I've heard boundaries,
Mhm.
but specifically emotional boundary. What is an emotional boundary and how do you create it?
Ooh, okay. So emotional boundaries, I think, are my specialty now because I've had to create so many of them. But I think at its core, it's just, I think a lot of hurt that we experience comes from the expectation from the other person, right?
Mm,
And so it's not always that what they did hurt you, it's that the expectation was for them to do something different. And that hurt because you thought they
wow.
were going to do something different than what they've always done.
Mm,
And so you essentially hurt your own feelings. And so, what I think the emotional boundary comes in is saying that I'm not going to allow this person to have control over my emotion or how I see them or how I want them to be, my expectations of them. And so while you're healing, it's important to put a block there because when you're, as you know, when you heal, you're kind of all over the place. Once you learn something new in therapy or when talking to your friends, you're like, you know what, let me call them and tell them how
yeah.
they hurt my feelings or what they did to me. And it's like, no, because you're in a space of healing, but maybe they're not. And so putting that boundary there allows you the time to heal without feeling like you owe them an explanation or continuing to hold them to an expectation that they can't meet and may never meet.
So, Kiara, you're telling me that my healing doesn't require an announcement because if we're honest, low key, some of us are healing for the sake of an announcement. I want to heal so that I can go back and tell you, look at me, I healed, and what you did to me didn't really hurt me, and look at me thriving. But you're telling me that if I'm going to heal, it needs to be for the sake of healing alone and not to prove anything to anyone. And I don't like that.